Okay, so we're starting our kind of fitness exercise portion of the course. And I think it's fair to start looking at how fitness and exercise has really played a significant role throughout human existence. That this isn't just a modern concept, that taking and devoting time to improving your physical ability is ancient. So we are going to talk about there's so much. If you go to YouTube, there's some really cool things out there. But I'm going to stick to some basics that I think you'll recognize and that you potentially could apply in the here and the now. So let's start with yoga. How many of here have done yoga, any type of yoga? How many have not? Okay, so yoga, I think for a lot of people, I know for me as an athlete and someone who was in the fitness industry early on, I did not value yoga. I knew it was something that was ancient, but to me, I didn't have the patience. I had no patience for it. I got way more out of the challenge of cardiovascular exercise. Of course, I got way more out of that because I had those issues. But when those were gone, I still really enjoyed sweating, and I enjoyed the cardiovascular, like heart rate and the energizing aspect of exercise. I love feeling strong. And when you strength train, you often gain the benefits of flexibility. So I maintained a certain degree of flexibility. As an athlete, as a track athlete in particular, I remember watching a bunch of hurdlers stretching, and I hurdled. I was a 100-meter hurdler indoor, and I did it in the heptathlon, and I literally was like, what a waste of time. I don't even know why they're stretching. Like, get your shit together. You should be able to do that in your weight training. I just had a lot of ignorance around it until I was older and in a whole lot of pain, degenerative back disease, osteoarthritis in my spine, chronic disc bulge, herniation, of which I attribute to all of my overtraining and arrogance. So I was training a client and I could hardly demonstrate because it hurt just a pelvic tilt. And she said, Robin, I do this yoga. I think you would really appreciate it. And so that was 19 years ago. 18 years ago. How many of you are 18 in here? So for the most part, I've been doing yoga for that long with little breaks. And it has changed my life completely. It inspired me to go get postural alignment certified, which changed my entire career, which ultimately you could say over the course of time got me to this place that I'm standing. So let's go over yoga and why it has lasted as long as it has and why it makes such an impact. So we're going to be brief because I have a lot to go through today. So I brought my yoga guru, Courtney. She is trained in Hatha Yoga, Bikram specifically, and you've been training since 07, and you've been teaching. And you've been practicing since around same. Okay. And Courtney and I, to this day, I train her, she trains me, we trade. And so I thought it would be fun for us to go through some Hatha Yoga. We're going to go through yoga first. So quickly, Hatha Yoga dates back to the 11th century India. Vinyasa falls under the umbrella of Hatha Yoga. There are several key differences that you need to know between the two. How many of you have done Hatha or even know what Hatha is compared to Vinyasa? I'm assuming most of you have done Vinyasa. Vinyasa is with flows. Sometimes it's heated, sometimes it's not. So Hatha Yoga tends to include combination, I don't know what the hell that is, cryas. Okay, she should be teaching this. Mudras, pranayamas, meditation, asanas. A little bit more connection to breath, and actually a lot of breathing.
Yes, it should all be breath directed,
Right, and
breath based.
my understanding is vinyasa is combination. So hatha poses are generally held longer, and you go from right to left. You whereas in vinyasa, my understanding is you do a whole series on the right, then you go back and do the whole series on the left. Does that sound right?
They can. There's a lot more flexibility in vinyasa and how they teach it, how they
Right.
practice.
Whereas hatha is a little bit more purist, vinyasa is a little bit more exploratory. So flow vinyasa focus on longer sequences on a single side followed by transitional poses and then repeat the long sequence on the other side or not. So hatha yoga has less flows. So for example, in hatha yoga, there's a lot of salutation, you know, for example, you'll go up, out, around, down, step throughs, up, down, kick up. So you can see I'm flowing through a series of poses, right? Whereas with a hatha yoga, the other day when we did our balance, that was a hatha yoga pose. Hold the pose. Then go to the next part of the pose. So you are focused on the posture rather than the flow. Does that make sense? Vinyasa is, I think, a little bit more incorporated in like fitness yoga. Even though hatha is very good for fitness, it's not typically seen as fitness yoga where you're not going to be doing push-ups in between or sit-ups in between. So I want to go over this quickly because then Courtney and I are going to demonstrate some things, but yoga is medicine. For example, this is a bow pose. I don't know, a bridge bow pose. Where it lengthens certain muscles, tenses other muscles, and you're focused on balance throughout the body in terms of strength and flexibility, holding and extending. And so in this video, why I wanted to show it to you is so that you can see in something like this, you can see the function of the body and where it might have limitations. And so they talk about the limitations of hip flexors in this. So the yellow here are the hip flexors. So your hip flexors take the femur, pull it to the hip, right? So hip flex, tightening here. And let's see this in action.
We'll pause the following patterns. If one or more of the hip flexors is short, the pelvis will tend toward greater anterior tilt, increasing lumbar lordosis. This condition will cause high compression loads on the posterior part of the lower vertebrae. In other words, limitations in hip flexor extension will be expressed immediately in overextension in the lower back. On the other hand, the better the hip joint extension, the easier lumbar spine extension will be. And in the upward bow pose, extension will be well and evenly divided over more joints.
I'm gonna re-show you this picture because this to me is like a good sign. So you can see here in this pose, the see how the pelvis rocks forward right there?
In other words, limitations in hip flexor
So do you see if
extension
your
will be
hips are
expressed
tight here,
immediately in overextension.
the pelvis is gonna be pulled forward right there. What that does is it takes the bridge of the spine and makes it really
On the other hand, the better the hip
Sorry.
condition will cause high
Right there.
compression loads
See
on
that
the
compression right
posterior
there?
part of the lower vertebrae.
And then there's
In other
less
words,
extension of the spine.
Limitations in hip flexor extension.
Whereas when you have lengthened hip flexors,
On
it
the other
allows the
The better
strain
it should
of the
extend,
bend
the
to
easier
go up
lumbar
the
spine
thoracic
extension
area
will
of
be.
the spine.
And in the upward bow pose,
So it moves
extension will be
up
well.
the spine. If your
and
hip flexors are
divided.
tight, it goes into the lumbar and you hyperextend. That was my issue. Cause I was doing too much flexion. So, let me go through,
Shortening the hip,
sorry,
shortening the hip flexors will.
we're skipping this one. So before we start showing all this, some poses, I want to go over some of the research, some more recent research on yoga. In 2015, with Chinese adults, cardio endurance, muscle strength endurance, and flexibility improved just after 12 weeks of hatha yoga. Once a week of 90-minute hatha yoga sessions help subjects, especially older women, improve spine and hamstring flexibility. You can see why, right? And that one, you guys, there's a 10-minute quiz that's due by the end of class. 34 men showed better postural control balance after 5 months of hatha. Participants improved core muscle strength and balance in just 21 days. Yoga boosts serotonin, the feel-good transmitters. Hatha yoga can lower blood pressure and cortisol and increase confidence when practiced right before stressful events. Some of that is just mindfulness. Arthritis and fibromyalgia. It's been found that yoga benefits osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, and fibromyalgia. Yoga helps manage lower back pain. Part of that is because it just balances out the hips and to the upper spine. Yoga improves range of motion in the neck and reduces intensity of neck pain. And a survey of 1,820 young adults who experience greater mindfulness and motivation due to regular yoga practice. So we want to show you some hatha poses. Hatha again includes some breathing exercises. So let's go ahead. I will be your demonstrator and she's going to describe some of the poses. Okay. I'm tight and I'm not, she would be better to demonstrate. And I will have her demonstrate some things. But I don't know the words. Like she's the person that instructs. So I don't. Anyways, okay.
So in all yoga, they should start with some sort of breathing exercise. In Bikram yoga, we do pranayama breathing. It's deep breathing. It's good for the lungs. It's good for the respiratory system. It warms up the neck and shoulders. It helps bring balance to the body, gets blood flow, oxygen moving. So you stand with your toes and heels touching side by side, interlace all 10 fingers, place your knuckles underneath your chin, relax your shoulders, stand up nice and tall, focus. And begin breathing. Inhale through the nose. You bring your elbows up towards the ceiling. You really want to stretch up out of the waist, open the lungs, hold it, and then exhale, head back, look back. Bring your elbows forward, elbows touch. Inhale, slowly bring your chin down. So each time you're expanding and opening the lungs, you get more oxygen, more energy. Exhale. And as you exhale, you're mindfully pushing toxins, waste, tiredness out of the body.
You want to do it? I want you to see her do it. And then I want you guys to try this. You can kind of see how much higher she goes. Okay, I'm stuck here. And this is intentional, the breathing through the throat and the gut. So if you get a group of people, this is everybody's sounding like this. Not kidding. Okay, your turn. We'll just do a couple. Stand up, feet together. I'll let Courtney lead. So ideally, just so you know, I can't do it, but when someone has the balanced posture, they can keep their elbows together without looking like this. I can't, so I start here.
All right, toes and heels touching side by side. Interlace all 10 of your fingers, place your knuckles underneath your chin, relax your shoulders, focus on standing up nice and tall, keeping the weight of your body in your heels. Take a nice big inhale through the nose and bring your elbows up towards the ceiling. You want to bring the air to the back of the throat, and it's what makes that vibration kind of snoring sound. Then exhale, look back and open your mouth wide. Ah sound coming from the back of your throat. Elbows forward, elbows touch. Inhale, open your elbows right there. Slowly bring your chin down parallel to the floor. Think moving, breathing, synchronized. Exhale, head back, look back. Trying to see the wall behind you without backward bending. Keep your spine straight, elbows forward, elbows touch. Last one, inhale, slowly bring your chin down. Stomach in, suck it in nice and tight, elbows up as high as they'll go. Exhale, head back, chest up, stomach in, elbows forward, elbows touch. Good, arms by your side.
So the next one we're gonna demonstrate is half moon. Half moon is four poses in one.
Right, left, back bend, forward.
So I'll demonstrate. And then you guys will try it. So sit down if you want. I'm gonna take my shoes off. Yes, thank you.
Inhale, arms over your head sideways. Interlock your 10 fingers, release your index fingers, keep your thumbs crossed. Keep your arms with your ears, chin up, body weight in your heels. Take a nice big inhale, stretch up out of your waist in an absolutely straight line. Bring your body up and over to the right without bending your elbows, without bending your knees. You want to keep pushing your hips out to the left as the body comes over to the right so that you feel and see extension from the fingertips, continuous stretching all the way down the whole left side of the body, inside out, bones to skin, fingertips down to the toes. Keep pushing your hips out beyond the flexibility. Exhale, come down, push, push. Inhale, breathing, come up, stop in the middle. Take another big inhale, stretch up out of your waist, absolutely straight line. Slowly bring your body up and over to the left without bending the elbows, without bending the knees, keeping your palms together nice and tight. Body weight in your heels, continuously pushing your hips out to the right beyond the flexibility. We look for the hips to come way out past the ankles and heels. Chin and chest up, body weight in your heels, right hip forward, left shoulder forward. You're opening up the chest and the rib cage, you're creating expansion, you're activating the digestive system. As you come down a little bit deeper, you push, push, inhale, breathing, come up, stop in the middle. Then backward bending, always designed to energize the body. Body weight in your heels. Take a nice big inhale, drop your head back, look back as far as you go, and then immediately bring your arms back. Body weight in your heels. Total spine backward bending. It's lower, middle, upper back. Feel the extension, see the extension. Heart rate is rising. Energy is coming into the body. Push stomach, legs, hips, everything forward towards the mirror, and then you kill yourself. You go arms back, look back, fall back, way back, forward back. Inhale, breathing, come up. Padahastasana is hands to feet pose. Slowly bring your upper body down, bend the knees as much as you need to. Ideally, you can do it like straight, all 10 fingers touch the floor in front of you. Here you want to warm up. Lower back is not warmed up. You're thinking nice, loose, comfortable, easy, flexible. It's a big U-turn for the back bend of the forward bending, so you've got to be really careful right here. How do you feel?
I'm good.
Ready?
I'm not gonna, I will do the best I can.
Grab your heels from behind, step on all 5 fingers of each hand. Little baby pinky fingers touch each other side by side. Relax your neck. Take a big inhale. And as you exhale, start to pull on your heels. Pulling is the object of stretching. So as she pulls on her heels, the whole posterior side of the body begins to stretch. Coccyx to the forehead, coccyx to the toes. It's continuous stretching. Inside out, bones to skin, with your smiling happy face. Ideally, roll forward. Pull on your heels. Eventually, the knees will lock. The whole back side of the legs will open up and stretch enough. You will have straight legs. Inhale, breathing, come up. Arms by your side.
Your turn. Okay, stand up. We won't go as long through each single pose. Make sure you have room.
Yeah. Inhale, touch side by side. Half moon pose. Inhale, arms overhead sideways, bring your palms together. Interlock your 10 fingers first. Release your index fingers, keep your thumbs crossed. The point of this is a nice tight grip. You don't want to lose the grip. Take a big inhale, stretch up out of your waist. We'll do a tiny little warm up and just move right and left. right and left, right and left. So you already feel stretching down both sides of the body, lower spine's already decompressing a little bit. Kind of just feel where you are, wake yourself up, and then stop in the middle.
Goal is to keep those elbows locked on
Push your hips
ears.
forward, bring your upper body back, body weight in your heels. Take a nice big inhale, stretch up out of your waist, try to touch the ceiling in an absolutely straight line. Bring your body up and over to the right without bending your elbows, without bending your knees. Push your hips out to the left, feel it, it's just a stretch, whole left side of the body, inside out, bones to skin. Make sure you're breathing, chin away from your chest, breathe in and out through the nose, then exhale, come down a little bit deeper and push. Push, good, inhale, breathing, come up, stop in the middle, hips forward, upper body back, body weight in the heels, another big inhale, stretch up, and then slowly bring your body up and over to the left, good. Pushing your hips out to the right, beyond your flexibility. So you feel it, you're creating a balance. You notice which side is tighter, which side you like a little bit more. Keep pushing your hips out to the right, keep breathing in and out through the nose. Don't hold your breath, don't try to muscle through, come down, push, push. Inhale, breathing, come up, stop in the middle. Backward bending, scary, don't worry about it. Might hurt like hell. Take a big inhale, drop your head back, try to see the wall behind you. Keep your eyes open. Now bring your arms back. Imagine you can touch the wall behind you, let your head hang heavy. Push stomach, legs, hips, everything forward, arms back, look back, keep breathing, way back. Inhale, breathing, come up, stop in the middle. Slowly bring your upper body down. Bend your knees as much as you need to so that all 10 fingers can touch the floor in front of you. Then slowly start to move your knees, your hips, right and left, right and left, right and left, till you're nice, loose, comfortable, easy, flexible. Keep your eyes open, keep breathing. Pada Hastasana is hands to feet pose with your toes and heels touching side by side. Reach around, grab onto your heels from behind. So you're stepping on all 5 fingers of each hand. If you can't grab your heels, just hold on to the calf muscles. Do the best you can. Let your head hang heavy. Keep your stomach glued to your thighs. Take a big inhale and begin to pull to begin to stretch your body. Lower back, middle back, upper back, total spine stretching now, total body stretching. Keep your stomach on your thighs, chest on your knees, face on the legs below the knees. Feel the stretch, keep breathing, eyes open, exhale into it. Then inhale, slowly come up, arms and ears together. Then arms down by your side. Great, just wake up posture, like the blood moving.
So Courtney and I are gonna finish this with a bow pose before. Lauren? You wanna do single standing? How much time do we have? Let's do a standing bow pose, and then we can show them the floor bow.
Okay.
And we can do it together. So they can see the difference. So this is a bow pose, we're gonna do the right and the left side. So again, with Hatha, it's important you're balancing the sides.
Right to left side and pop it.
What's this called?
Pop the yoga.
No, what's the pose called?
Dande Mana Dhanurasana, standing bow pulling pose. You want to do one from the side?
Yes. You do the side view. You're leading. You have to say the words. We're
Left
gripping,
arm up in front of me.
so we're gripping here at the ankle. And on the inside. Inside, palm out.
So the shoulder will open, so you have extension of the heart and the lungs. Take a nice big inhale. Charge your body forward. Bring your body down from the lower spine till your abdomen and chest become parallel to the floor and 2 feet are on one line from the side. Kicking and stretching should be equal, simultaneous, 50-50. Bring your body down, stretch forward more, kick, body down, kick, body down, kick. Inhale, breathe, come up.
What you're not seeing is that there is a point of balance as the body goes into a bow. Your foot, the foot that's holding all the weight, is taking the weight and distributing it in the foot and holding a balance point through the knee and the hip while your body extends this way. And again, like the video, if you're tight, let's say in your hip flexors, this is going to be hard just getting your thigh back here, right? So some people start like this because they're tight here. They just have to work back. And if you can't hold balance, I couldn't do this for years because I couldn't balance. So let's do the left and then you guys get to your head.
Start out. Start your left foot from the inside, all five fingers together. Grab, reaching close to the shoulder, bring your knees together, start, focus, take a big inhale. Body down, lower spine, abdomen, chest, parallel to the floor. Eventually 2 feet and 1 leg from the side. Kicking and stretching should always be equal, simultaneous, 50-50. The harder you kick, the balance is forever. Body down, kick. Arch forward, kick. 2 feet and 1 leg from the side.
Okay, your turn.
And you fall out, you just get right back in.
Right, if you're having a hard time, so just grabbing the ankle, it's okay to grab up front. I mean, listen to that.
So right arm up, palm facing up, elbow close to the body, bring your hand out to the right without turning or twisting your wrist. We say, Mama, give me money, so that the money is in your hand. Don't turn your hand, don't drop the money. Reach back, grab from the inside of the ankle, all 5 fingers together. Great. In the back, flip your wrist over the end of the way. Yes, there you go. Like you're giving blood. Left arm up in front of you, chin close to the shoulder. Try to bring your knees together to touch. This is going to help with your balance. Focus one spot. Take a big inhale and slowly start to charge your body forward. Bring your body down. Stretch your fingertips forward. Find it. Kicking, stretching, equal, simultaneous, 50-50. Yeah, good. Inhale, breathing, come up. Try the left side. Feel the circulation shift. You might get a little lightheaded, dizzy. Left arm out, palm facing up, elbow close to the body, reach straight back, grab the inside of the ankle. Yes, got it.
The one thing that, Courtney, you taught me that I hadn't heard from others, middle finger,
Right in the crease. Good. All the power and energy goes right there. Right arm up. Try to bring your knees together to touch. Take a big inhale. Charge your body forward.
I think with this one, there's like this block, like your chest has to be flexible, shoulder has to be flexible, hamstrings, the hip extenders have to release. I mean, there's a spine rotation.
There's a lot.
Ah,
Inhale, breathing, come out.
okay. So, come close, because I want you to see the difference between a floor bow with me and a floor bow with her. So you can see the difference around the spine mobility from someone who's got like problems and someone who doesn't. So come look at the difference. So come close so you can see the difference and then we'll move to the next. Yeah, we are gonna get on.
To walk to face each other. So they can see it.
Oh, yeah. And we want it in this video. Okay. Okay, you go. No laughing at me. And this actually isn't so bad, considering I used to be here, but it was all right there. So you can see for me, it's going up the spine a little bit more. Into the center. There you go. A little bit more.
Kick.
Okay. Maybe the last one we can do is this one. This would be good for the students. It's hard. Only do what you can, but this is also
You have
really good for your.
knee issues, ankle issues, feet issues, leg issues. It hurts.
So if you want to try, just sit like this.
This is fixed for.
Your goal is to have the length here. So it's not just the knee length. And this is actually, for me, been hugely transformative for my knee health, considering how much I do. And my ankles. When I first started, this hurt so bad. And I would end up like this. And then I would be sitting forward. And I could, you know, run a 5.5 minute mile, but I couldn't sit like this.
Heels.
So this took me years.
Between the heels with no gap between your hips and your heels. You can open your knees as wide as you need to. Eventually knees together. Hands to your feet, fingertips facing forward. And if your butt's pretty comfortable on the floor, then you go back one elbow at a time. Always right, then left. Hold it there. See how you're feeling. And that's just going to breathe. Then eventually drop your head back and go back further.
I'm a little tight. I need the heat.
Yeah.
Watch Courtney.
So right elbow, left elbow, head back, top of the head, back of the head, shoulders until the whole upper body is on the floor.
It's a bridge too, so it's not
And
just,
then you bring your arms over your head sideways.
so this is super good for joint health if you've practiced. If you take someone who's, let's say, 60 years old and not practice, this could really hurt them. But you start like this, you start here, you work down, you work down, you work down. This feels like nothing. Go open up, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. This took me years. I started when I was 26, and this probably took me until I was like 28 of consistency for it to actually feel good, to not feel, it feels good to my joints. So, all right, any questions? I would highly encourage you guys to get started on some type of practice. Yoga is all over YouTube. You can find things to do at home, things that don't cost anything. And then there's also like groups you can pay for memberships. There's is there yoga at the rec center? Is it more flow? Maybe a combination?
Music.
Yeah, that's a flow. So with hatha, there's no music. It's all focused, like you are focused. Music, it would be super distracting. Okay. So let's get into other ancient exercise. So a lot of the other forms of fitness were directly involved and for war, for combat. And this has continued in part because self-defense is important. If you're in, I know that they teach combat, hand-to-hand combat, you're in the military. But even if you're not in the military, combat is fun. How many of you wrestle or do some type of combat? Fun. It's fun, right? I tried to beat up my husband. I'm not kidding. Because we were of equal size and I was in the best shape of my life. And I sized him up and thought, I think I could take him home. I could squat a ton. I was super strong. I could do like 20 pull-ups at the time. And he kicked my butt, but it was fun. I still try to size people up just because that's the inflated part of me. So Roman soldiers trained, this is something to think about. Like if you're a Roman soldier, they require that you go roughly 18.4 miles in a group of, I don't know, how many? Does it say on this? I think oftentimes it was hundreds of people march at a certain pace to get 18.4 miles within 5 hours. You know how hard that would be? That means they have to be super efficient and super healthy, super fit, would be a better word. So part of basic military training is physical exercise, the ability to be strong, to be able to be resilient, to be able to handle injury. Same with women. This is old. Exercise was a big part of Roman lifestyle. So let's look at Roman wrestling in combat. Wrestling is one of the oldest forms of combat depicted 15,000-year-old cave drawings in France. Obviously, we think of the Romans a lot of times, how they would compete with animals. They would compete with each other, and for most part, it was to the death. Who was superior was determined by death of others. There are some pictures. Another one with animals. So you can imagine what do you think this athlete was doing to prepare to wrestle the tiger? There were a lot of different exercises they would do. Wrestling today, wrestling and grappling sports, kind of look at we see them as martial arts, or wrestling. And a lot of our current techniques are very similar. So this is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And, but I want to go over to, this is available. Give me a second. Hi, judo. How many of you here have done judo? So this is a very quick video, and you can see how, what I want you to observe is the degree of fitness this requires. To be on the offense, and the degree of fitness it would require to be the one hitting the ground, the impact. They're on nice padding. So imagine you've had a little too much tequila and you start taking a fight and you don't know who you're taking a fight with. And you'll see sometimes the guy finishes off with an arm bar, and she's like, yeah, right there. My idea is to break the arm. Or you'll get a choke, which would be, yeah. Have fun with that one. How do you think this feels after a while? Right. And this is a lifetime sport. As long as you maintain your spine health, that's something you can do for a long time. Of course, this is where yoga comes in. If you do yoga, and I'm totally gonna sell it, you should be able to do this for a long time. If you can handle those your discs, your spine should be able to handle that type of impact. And of course, there's a lot of technique involved in handling being thrown. And yeah, so you do judo. What do you think of those takedowns? Right, would you like to demonstrate one? I'm kidding, I'm joking. I do have mats at home, so part of my gym, see these floor mats that they're using? I have a few floor mats in my gym. My husband does jujitsu, which we're gonna watch now. And he gets his friends over and they start choking each other out. Let's watch this. So the idea is to choke, to break limbs, break ankles. So you'll notice with this, he's gonna tap out. You don't actually break their arm. This isn't Roman era, right? See they tap out. size difference. This guy is just tapping that guy out. That's open black belt. Because of the technique. So that's an arm bar. So in terms of, I'm gonna stop this next way. In terms of like how combat sports work, the goal is to defend yourself and walk away, right? So if you can choke someone out, that means they're gonna pass out and leave. If you can debilitate, I know this sounds really bad, but this is combat. This is kind of combat fitness. If you can like break an ankle or break an elbow, chances are you're gonna get away and you're not gonna get hurt. So these techniques really are not about killing someone, it's about getting yourself out. And at least, or getting someone to submit. So in terms of the sport, you tap. So when you feel that the limb is going to be compromised or there's no way for you to get out, you tap the other person and they quit. So it's relatively safe. About to get choked. You can see with the gi, they use the gi to choke too. It's not just your limbs. You can use the clothing. I don't think there's any no gi in here, but with no gi, they're wearing tight. And so there's no clothing to use. Whereas with the gi, you use clothing. And just, there's lots of women that do this, a lot. It's really growing for women. The self-defense. About to break his arm, here it is. The ankle. Ankle arm. Okay. So this is a lifetime sport. My husband started, and he just turned 50. He started when he was 42. He just got his brown belt, which is, it takes a long time in this specific sport to go that far. And it's fun for him and his friends. I'll leave it at that. He tries to tell me all the time. And I have no problem poking eyes out or taking it in the crotch, so who stops? Okay, so let's move on to kettlebells. How many of you have used kettlebells in your training? I brought one. This is a kettlebell. Anybody know the history of this? Anybody? Say it again.
Apple-Sasswing.
Say it again.
Apple-Sasswing.
I don't know. Who's that?
I think he was the Russian strength conditioning coach.
Oh, got it. Thank you. This is way older. This is old. You're talking current history. Yeah, right. It's this never stopped in Europe. But I will go through the slide. This is a very old kettlebell. What do you think this was used for? It was not used for what we use them for. Anybody have a guess?
I don't know.
Say it again. What is it?
Like when you do the chain and like hook up a weight to it, and like that. I had no idea.
Well, that's super creative thought. I mean, kettlebell is used to weigh grain and other goods. So think of, so you can see all these scales back here. So let's imagine I have a thing of grain or an animal. How do I know how much it weighs? So you would see all these little tiny bells. You would take the bell, see this, counterweights. So you would set your grain on this side or your cow on this side, and then you would have to pull all the kettlebells onto this side. Then go, oh, this is how much weight you put on this side to make it even. So old, we're talking thousands of years old. And it became play. This became something, how can we get this, you know, huge kettlebell up to this height or up to this height? And it became something they started to play with. Today, it's part of looking cool. Oh my God, I look so cool. I'm using kettlebells. There's actual really awesome. You know, I'm right. Today there's awesome, I need to get this up, science that understands how this works. Has everything to do with acceleration and deceleration and how the body has to accelerate and decelerate a weight that can move, right? And so this, unlike a dumbbell, has an extended arm length for my arm. So whoop, it's not from here to here, it's actually from here to here. So this is like extending the length of my arm. So it makes, for example, swinging this harder or heavier than 30 pounds. This is a 30-pound kettlebell. So let's look at some videos.
Hello, this is Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica, and right now we're going to talk about the 6 basic families of movements that you use in kettlebelling. This is a really good idea. This is one of the simplest, best ideas that I've ever seen in training, which is why training with a good kettlebell coach is always such a good idea. The 6 things are the swing,
Acceleration, deceleration, acceleration, deceleration. And using single arm forces your spine to be in rotation and flexion as you decelerate and accelerate. So just getting the hip extension there to get momentum and then to decelerate it into the body.
press,
That's just cheap. That's really simple. There's so many more lifts, but it's simple.
the Turkish get up,
Scoring, lunging, balancing. Lunging, side bending, rotating, extending, flexion. And then that shoulder control.
and
So these are, that's old, that's an old list.
if you practice these 6 basic movement patterns from simple to complex, from light to heavy, you will solve a vast majority of your movement and fitness issues just by practicing these things. These are the basic movements that humans do. You're practicing them with a kettlebell. And because of the offset center of mass of the kettlebell, it tends to recruit more stabilization in the body, and it tends to involve more systems and planes of the body than if you were to do the exact same movements with, say, a dumbbell. And it is different from the way you would learn these things with a barbell. If you learn these with a single kettlebell, everything becomes cross-body stabilization. Everything becomes an abdominal exercise because everything forces the core contraction. You can get a pretty good response with light to medium weight for men 16K, 36 pounds to 24K, about 52, 53 pounds, versus a barbell. A barbell, you tend to have to jack the weight up higher because it's symmetrically loaded in order to get similar types of core responses. Question is, what are you valuing the most? I personally like kettlebells because they're small and they're portable. Barbells tend to be big and heavy and require a lot more weight and to drop them, which you cannot probably do if you live on the 3rd floor of an apartment complex. In the future, we'll come back and we'll do video breakdowns of each of these things, talking about the specific basic skills, why they're beneficial to do, and how they create an overall, better basic. This is Ben Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica, talking about the 6 basic movements in kettlebell training. These are the hard style movements, not the specifically soft style movements or competition style movements, which have a different purpose and is an entirely different video.
So kettlebell training is something that I wait with clients to do until I know they're flexible enough. If their spine does not have good mobility, they're prone to really hurt their back. If you're stiff and tight in the neck even. So, there's a lot of different techniques out there and different ways to play with a kettlebell. I wouldn't necessarily just try some of those more complicated lifts like the Turkish get up unless you have someone instructing you. And you don't have to start heavy because as you swing, let's say swing the kettlebell, it's heavier, this is heavier than 30 pounds when you add how much I'm accelerating it, right? And when I decelerate it, that was heavier than 30 pounds, right? So I don't recommend you start heavy. But it is fun, and he was correct, and there's tons of cross body work if you do single arm. And it is primarily strengthening, he said the abdomen, but know that your core is really your glutes, adductors, erector spinae, transverse abdominis. It's this whole pelvis. It's not this one muscle. It's the whole pelvis is your core. And swinging a kettlebell compared to swinging a dumbbell is more complicated because of how it extends the arm. Any questions about kettlebells? Do they have kettlebells here? Clearly, I have not been to the gym. Awesome. And I think there is a fitness class. Yes, with, he's awesome. He does a good job. So yeah, it's called Bronco Fit?
Yeah, it's like a Bronco Fit more than Kevin runs all the Bronco Fits.
Right, so if you have the opportunity to take any of Kevin's classes, he's exceptional. He really does his homework. He studies posture. Bronco Fit, Kevin, highly recommend. Move on. Oh, let's, I want to listen to this one. I'm just not sure how much I want to listen to this one about kettlebell training.
Means, well, the kind of thing we discussed.
It just swings and dips.
Yeah.
Why that combination?
Trying to be minimalist, pretty much, and trying to cover as much base as possible. Also trying to do things that my body likes. But the swings are, I would argue that the swing is the most beneficial exercise anybody can do.
We're talking about kettlebell
Because
training.
when you're training power, you're training your fast fibers, you're developing mitochondria in the fast fibers. You are training your connective tissues, and you're getting your cardio as well. It's not, it's not focused on that, but you have that side effect. The dip is, kind of covers what's been missing. I like the idea of very minimalist general strength protocols that just have pretty much a hip hinge and a press. That's what covers.
What about chin-ups or things on those lines?
Sure, it's great. I'll do it sometime, but you will find, you're surprised that if you do swings powerfully, and if you do dips or push-ups powerfully, chances are you're not going to do chin-ups.
Really?
Chances are, for most people. So here's something to keep in mind. What is general training versus specific training? So in the Russian sports science, there's a concept of general training versus special training. Special means sport specific, pretty much. So the general training can be strength, can be something else, gives you a foundation for everything else. And it's characterized by a high degree of carryover. So for example, if you decide to do barbell squats, you know for a fact that you're gonna jump higher, you're gonna run faster, you're gonna hit harder, and so on and so forth. If you decide to go leg extensions, you can be sure that you're gonna get better at leg extension. That's it. So general exercises are the ones that are fairly simple to perform and give you the greatest possible carryover. So that's what you do. And then after that, you start adding more specific stuff. So let's say that, you want to increase the number of chin-ups you want to do, well, you got to do chips. So that's a specific practice. Absolutely. So, Jennifer.
One of the things that I noticed that I thought was really weird was when I started doing kettlebells, things that I wasn't doing, I got stronger at.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't doing dips for a long time. Like I didn't do them for months and months. And I was just doing kettlebells. I was just doing cleans, presses, snatches, swings, a bunch of different squat protocols, overhead squats. My dip went through the roof.
Awesome.
But it was so strange. It was like,
We call this the what the hell effect. So that type of carryover, some of it we can understand, some of it we can explain, but some of it we can't. But yeah, we've had the kettlebell swing, for example, increase the performance of world champion powerlifters and top marathon runners at the same time. It's a very
I think
bizarre
you get the point. So did you understand what he was saying about, the general lifts versus specific lifts. Right, so like back squats, you do back squats. Your bench press is gonna get stronger, even if you don't do bench press. There's certain lifts that activate your entire body, that strengthen your entire body, and it can translate to other lifts. That doesn't mean there's no benefit to bench press, because bench press is highly beneficial to thoracic extension, right? So is back squats, right? So let's move on. So we can look at, like, this is from the late 1800s. I want you, this is like the gym from the late 1800s. Rowing. Looks like horse riding of sorts. What do you think this is? Anybody want to guess? Can you see that? Bunch of wheels. Looks like they have a cable cross system right here. See the grip right here and the stack? So obviously rowing is still cool today. A lot of cardiovascular benefits, but also just the ability to curl up like this. It's good for spine flexibility. So here's another picture depicting all the exercise. Look at this is at a university. So colleges and universities would have activities. Notice the women up here, and there's really no women, in part because they were training these young men for combat, for war. It was built into curriculum at universities. Look, there's the machine. I think this was the first type of spot reduction machine, is what I'm thinking, like rolling over the skin. Maybe it was massage. You can see probably a little different. What's the I don't want to judge, because we know so much more. Our expectations are, we have so much more knowledge and the ability to train. Like the average muscle mass that we have today compared to, say, the late 1800s, early 1900s is so, we are so much bigger and more massive because of how much more knowledge we have on hypertrophy and muscle growth. You can see in terms of his posturing, right? The different, this guy looks like he's having a good time compared to the rest. And that guy, obviously, this guy's like, what the fuck is he doing? But yeah, you can see fitness has evolved. Dumbbells. So I think this is mid-century. Again, a medicine ball, ropes. Maybe more 60s. Weightlifting and weight competition. A lot of times this was seen as a spectacle. It wasn't necessarily, the strong man. It wasn't necessarily accepted in general. Whereas today, men and women weight train. The benefits of weight training are so well known for especially aging. This is anti-aging if done properly. I know this guy looks like he's probably going to die soon, but he's not. He's strengthening his entire core and his back. And you can see she clearly likes to make this look much easier than this one. So let's go into jump rope. When was the last time you guys jump rope? How many of you have jumped rope in the last 2 years? That is so great. How about the last month? It's some of the best. And this is something you can do everywhere and anywhere. I randomly and also sometimes consistently have all of my clients jump rope. It is so good for so many parts of the body, especially your pelvic floor, which men and women have. Every time you jump, the pelvic floor is basically everything that holds in your guts, holds in your waist. As you age, it can get relaxed, which means it's harder to hold in your piss, hold in your waist. Especially for women after having children, after having babies, when the child comes out of the pelvis, it can really create damage to the nerves and the muscles in that area. And so very specifically with women postnatal, after having a baby, I will have them, when they are ready and can exercise, start jump rope almost immediately. Because of the contractibility and the contractions of the pelvic floor that are so important for their strength. And that's just one thing. Jump rope, let's just watch. I'll let them tell you.
Jumping rope? Isn't that for boxers or little girls? Maybe these type of thoughts come to your mind when you listen to someone talking about hip skipping. Well, believe it or not, a Cooper Institute aerobic test found that 10 minutes of simple active jumping rope is equals to a 30-minute of jogging. Jumping rope is also easy to do anywhere. Just put the rope in a backpack and take along with you on a trip to work, to school, or even it can be done in the living room while you're watching TV. There are so many health benefits of jumping rope, and studies have found that it is one of the most effective cardio exercises, and you can get into your top shape with just a few minutes of skipping a day, eating a healthy diet. Here are the list of health benefits you can get by jumping rope every day. 1. Helps to improve coordination. Jumping rope actually improves your coordination by making you focus on your feet. Whether or not you're paying attention to them, your brain is aware of what your feet are doing. This practice over and over again makes you feel lighter on your feet. The more tricks you do with the jump rope, the more your brain becomes conscious and coordinated. 2. Decreases foot and ankle injuries. Many athletes in different sports often suffer foot and ankle injuries from running and then quickly stopping and turning. Jumping rope not only improves your foot coordination but also increases your strength in the muscles surrounding your ankle joint and thus decrease the chances of getting injured. Jumping rope teaches players to stay on the balls of their feet rather than being flat-footed or on their heels. 3. Burns major calories. This aerobic exercise can achieve a burn rate of up to 1,300 calories per hour with about 0.1 calories burned per jump. 10 minutes of jumping rope can roughly be considered the equivalent of running a mile in 8 minutes. 4. Improves bone density. Jumping is considered to be a great way to increase bone density. This exercise may help to prevent osteoporosis by facilitating bone growth. In a study, it was found that anytime you add weight bearing to a specific bone set, you will improve its bone density. Just a few minutes of jumping a day can help you protect against many of the problems associated with poor bone density. 5. Improves cardiovascular health. Jumping rope is a killer cardio workout that improves your coordination, boosts your metabolism, and makes you sweat like crazy. In order to increase your heart and lung health, you must do this exercise 3 to 5 times per week for 12 to 20 minutes at a time. 6. Improved breathing efficiency. In addition to improved heart health and stamina, jumping rope also improves your breathing efficiency. This will also help you in other activities and won't let you get out of breath after running down the court or doing swimming laps in the pool. 7. Makes you smarter. According to Jump Rope Institute, jumping aids in the development of the left and right hemispheres of your brain, which enhances spatial awareness, improves reading skills, increases memory, and makes you more mentally alert. Jumping continuously on the balls of your feet requires your body and mind to make neuromuscular adjustments to the imbalances created from continuous jumping, which helps to improve dynamic balance and coordination, reflexes, and muscular endurance. 8. Improves your ability to stay calm. Boxers in the ring who practice jump rope actually are more calm overall than those who don't. This is because while skipping rope, you are actually working your brain and your body at the same time. Your ability to jump rope and be synchronous with your body, mind, and the rope can actually help you be more calm in different situations. So, are you going to add jump?
Okay. Is that enough? Is that convincing enough? Let's see here. I want to finish. I'm going to speed through this because this is awesome. This is honestly kind of amazing.
Staying active is important at any
Speed it up,
age.
and then we have one
Staying
last
active
video.
is important at any age, especially for people over 65. Well, tonight I'm now Elizabeth Thornburg introduces us to a North Buffalo native who is nearly 100 years old, and her energy is so infectious.
Sorry. This woman was 100 years old. They actually show her jumping rope. I have to show you this because if I don't. I want to speed it up though.
Staying active is important at any age, especially for people over.
Jumping rope
Look at her.
isn't something you see many adults doing, let alone an adult who is 96 years old. But not only does Ann Constantino jump rope, she can
I
do
love
other exercises that shock people.
I'm gonna try. That's the only thing you can tell it you can do it.
Ann is a fitness instructor for the Erie County Senior Fitness Program. Moving Urban is what she loves to do, whether it's cleaning her North Buffalo home or teaching others how to stay active.
I don't like to sit around. They call me the crazy king.
Yeah, I love this so much. So her jumping rope was super impressive. I don't know if you understand that, but what you saw her do at 96 is unreal. It's really, and it probably is because she's been doing it without stopping. Okay, so we're gonna just listen to this and be done.
Kettlebells are really weird. They're. Kettlebells are really weird. They're strange modern piece of equipment that we spend a lot of money on and we spend a lot of money to do, that makes you work really hard to get to stay at the same place. It's the opposite of exercise. Think about it, treadmill, right? We think treadmills are synonymous with exercise, but it's a noisy, expensive issue that makes you work really, really hard for no purpose other than to make you move it out in. Most of us, we support that treadmill, we listen to podcasts, music, we watch something on our iPhones or whatever, make it tolerable. My name is Dan Lieberman. I'm a professor of human evolutionary biology at Harvard University. And I'm the author of Exercise, Why Something We Never Evolved to Do is Healthy and Important. The very first treadmills were probably invented by the Romans or some other people like that, to move wheels and stuff like that. But the modern treadmill's real genesis comes from the Victorian prison. They were invented by a man named William Jewett at some point in the 19th century to prevent prisoners in England on dead in prison from relaxing and enjoying themselves. So they would make prisoners sort of press hours a day on the big slot like treadmills. Make it unpleasant for them to be in jail. Of course, now people still trudge on treadmills, but they do it on their own volition. But many of them still feel like it's kind of a close. I really enjoy doing that.
Who's doing and shaking his inside?
So many modern forms of exercise are kind of like outdoor, they're not really pleasant. Extra sunshine for in winter and spring. We do that because they're good for us, but it's not fun. Your muscles strong. And so it's, it's like taking that. Or make physical activity exercise. So physical activity is moving. You do anything, you go shop, you pick up your groceries, you take your car, that's physical activity. You sweep the kitchen floor, that's physical activity. But exercise is discretionary, voluntary physical activity.
All right, I think you get the point. So I will see you guys on Monday where we're gonna talk more about posture. Have a good weekend.